I had the urge today to share soul singing. How do you sing your soul song? And why do you need to sing your soul song? You might think, why do I need to do that? Many years ago, before I even started practicing shamanism, I was always in the woods, sitting under a tree, and I just felt that there was this inner voice that needed to come out. It was like hard to explain. I didn't know why. It sounded almost very native, just very, and I'm like, what is this? And it wasn't until I started practicing shamanism that I learned it was my soul song that needed to come out. And so I learned how to sing my soul song, and it's such a beautiful release to allow your soul, to sing. We are so wrapped up in our ego and mind that we forget that we all have a soul. And, once our body's no longer alive on this planet, it's our souls that are going to carry on. Because your souls don't die. Your physical body, your ego, and your mind is what passes, but your soul continues to grow. So, learning how to sing your soul song is a great way to just release, let your soul have a chance to sing and to experience this world that you're in. And, I think about shamanism and I go, well, I started practicing maybe, I don't even know, maybe 8 years ago or so. But then I started to think about it and I'm like, I've actually been practicing shamanism my whole life. I know as a child I used to have a little tree out in the yard that I would water, and I named it and I would talk to it. And throughout my life I've always been really close to nature and talked to the trees and listened to the bird signs or the animal signs and what they meant. And I guess it wasn't until I started practicing shamanism that I guess you could say I put a name to it. I think I've practiced throughout my life, but when I started learning about shamanism and the name of shaman, I think I took the first course at Shaman College 101, and I went, oh, it's called shamanism. This is what I've been doing my whole life. And then you learn to, the different ceremonies and things that you can do with shamanism, like cleansing with sage. I never knew what that was until I took the course, and yet it was so familiar to me when I started to learn it. I went, wow, I feel like this is familiar to me. And so soul sounding is kind of like that too. And so with soul sounding, you really, start with a good cleansing, getting your mind down into your center space. And if you want to try and do it with me here, just kind of like letting go, just letting that voice that wants to come out. It may sound horrible. I know my soul song doesn't sound pretty. Some people have beautiful soul songs, but mine isn't. But it feels really good. Just sometimes it helps if you have a rattle. Just start with whatever comes out. It almost sounds, my soul song sounds very, I want to say native in a way. It's got this ancient native, it doesn't mean anything. And that's the other thing about a soul song. It's not like you're singing a song that you loved when you grew up, Oh, to live on Sugar Mountain with the barkers and the colored balloons. It's not that song. It's not the Neil Young song that you can really relate to, okay? It doesn't have, well, some may have words. I can't say. Everybody's soul song is going to be different. And maybe your soul song does have words or lyrics or something to it. But it's not a song that somebody else has wrote. It's a song that's coming from your soul. know a lot of people have a hard time learning it because maybe they live in an apartment complex where you can hear everything going on next door. And you're kind of, or your husband's upstairs or your kids, and they're all going to be going, what's that noise, So I think it's important to do it in a space and a place where you can let loose. Husband went to work, the kids are at school, nobody's around, I can go in my special little place and just let loose. Or maybe if you're out in the woods, it's even better if you're outside someplace. And I think part of shamanism too, and practicing shamanism, is not really caring too much about what other people may think about what you're doing, because sometimes I'll just be out on my rock dancing and singing in my soul song and just letting loose. And I guess I'm fortunate that I live in a place where I can do that. I mean, if you went to a park or someplace where there's people walking around, they might even call the cops, like, this person's Lulu, So you got to think about these things. And I'm very fortunate that I live someplace where I can just let it go. It's hard for me to sing my soul song quietly. I've tried to and keep the voice down, because sometimes I am someplace where I have to be a little more conscious. What does your soul song sound like? Mine, I feel sometimes it sounds sad. I'm not sure. Not that your soul would be sad, but that's just the way it comes out. And everybody's going to be different. So I truly hope that you'll take a moment and sing your soul song.